Actual play. A plan is hatched to become the Heisenbergs of Redmond, but first, Improv gets some brain improvements. Kennel has no idea where his loyalties lie. Horatio gives a lesson on intergang politics. And Juliet gives up violence for a new life as a farmer. Okay, she drives around her new hideout and shoots people. It's time to begin episode 30. Oh, I'm a sky jellyfish.
All right, sorry about that. Where were we at last?
I actually got the cerebrals. Oh shit.
We decided that just to possibly save our lives, Az was going to roll one more time to try for the cerebrals, since we have those 2 weeks of downtime, and he was able to get them. So huzzah!
Horatio, did you want to go for your, was it muscle enhancements?
No, those are already as high as they can get, so I'm going to roll for the orthoskin.
Okay.
Let me just check the availability.
And you get the +4 for him already being a cyber surgeon.
I mean, if we can steal our dump truck's worth of meth or heroin precursors.
That's actually what I was thinking, is that we try to find some kind of lab, some kind of supply warehouse, hit that so we can stock up the larder, so we won't go hungry during the winter, if you will.
Because I was looking up, apparently the dudes who sell someone a package get about a 25% kickback. So if we tell the crush, we'll do it for 15 instead of the customary 25. That's a pretty good deal.
That's a nice little turnaround.
Yeah. And we'll also have an income because we're kicking up the package. Brand name will be WMD. We got that WMD.
Okay, so is that all of the cyberware and stuff that you guys wanted?
For me, yeah, I'm tapped out.
I'm not quite done yet, but I'm still figuring things out. And
well, I was gonna say, well, did you want to roll because you had another 2 weeks?
Let me double check. Keep going in the meantime, guys. I just gotta look over stuff.
I for the life of me cannot figure out what I want to do with my karma, so I'm trying to leave my downtime open right now. I did train the Hellhound with the attack trick, so
yeah, I saw that.
Not only will he not kill us in our sleep, but he'll kill people we tell him to.
Nice.
I mean, you can always get another Hellhound.
Oh, I've been thinking about it. I really have.
Or a Cerberus, or what's the other awakened dog?
Oh, the Barghest.
Barghest.
The Barghest. Yeah.
See, what I worry about with the Barghest is because it's a sonic attack. Anybody who's around us is going to get hit by it. So I can't really. It's not directed. Like if it was a cone of effect that could put fear in people, I would go for it. But I don't want my doggy to get scared and then all of a sudden everybody, including us, is shaking in fear.
No, that's completely fair. So yeah, I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you guys want to try and raid the potential cyberware lead? Do you want to go for Horatio's initiation? I have like 6 different things I can do right here. So like I've done a lot of planning. I've had 2 weeks.
Can we buy up to availability 10 without a roll?
That was just for last week. Wow, what were you wanting to get? Like I have no problem like allowing it for this time because you guys have yet to finish all that off.
I have enough essence for you now, and enough money. I can afford a BetaWare Control Rig 1.
I'm cool with that.
Oh boy, guys, I'm a rigger now, boys.
And you have a couple of little recon drones, so that's cool.
Oh, we're gonna have to get some regular adaptation for all the vehicles now.
I can install it.
I was about to say, like, yeah, if you guys just want to buy it, I think it's like 1,000.
Yeah, I think it's 1,000.
It's pretty cheap, yeah.
Putting it on the truck.
Yeah, I'll actually get that for my motorcycle too.
Cool. But you still need the programs, the RCC to do all of it autonomously, but you can do it yourself now, Horatio.
Yeah, rigger interface is availability for 1,000 yen.
Yeah, not going to make you roll for it, but yeah, you have to buy it.
So, especially now that you have the
well,
rig,
except for that was special.
Don't forget that I put the LDSD-23, the floating eye above the treehouse. It's on a 500-foot microwire tether, so it's basically invisible, and it has an R4 camera with vision mag and low light and thermal and all that extra shit on there. So we should be able to see anything that wants to come near the treehouse with our invisible eye in the sky.
Oh, I'm a sky jellyfish.
Yeah. And of course, everybody would get the 3 marks invited to that, just because, anybody who wants to look through it that's on our team better look through it and keep us safe.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So where do you guys want to head here? Because, again, I've got a dozen different things I can do. Half dozen.
Do we just want to go for the initiation with Horatio? Because that would
That would help a lot.
Help solidify our
Either that or
position
the
here.
precursors. We might
Well-
want to do the precursors first.
I mean, it's possible that if we have the precursors first, and you can bring to the table a steady supply of high quality narcotics for them to move on with, they're not going to need as much from you because you're bringing something to them as well. You know what I mean?
That's kind of my hope.
Okay.
I'm expecting that the person who's going to give me the initiation test is going to give me something pretty tough regardless because they don't like me.
Okay.
But you
Yep.
know, the more that we can like show the crush as a whole that we're offering something useful,
Yeah.
the more that will like reflect badly on them, right? Because if
Yeah.
you have somebody who's bringing a bunch of really like good things to your gang, and then you give them some ridiculous initiation, politically that looks bad, right?
Yeah, because we'd basically be proving our worth, so why try to keep you out when we can do all of these 100 different things for you? So yeah, so how would you guys like to go about planning a heist of some precursor chemicals?
Where's the most likely place for us to get it? I don't even know that much.
It's
Well,
time for some matrix searches.
Well, it would be hard to find it in the Barrens.
All right.
You could, but it's going to be in more of the industrial southern area, more in the spider territory. You guys have enough area knowledge between you. You would know that. Outside of that, though, yeah, I'm going to need some rolls.
Okay. Well, I mean, like you say, there's plenty of industrial sites out here because they can pollute and give even less of a shit than usual, which is pretty good. So yeah, I'll start in on that. Not a problem.
As for contacts, I have my real estate agent contact out in Auburn, so she knows that area really, really well. She might know some of the people living in the expensive houses who might have something to do with chemicals. And then there's always Cocoa Puff Shimmy, who is an info broker for Redmond. He might know a place worthy of our attentions.
Jeez, okay.
Fuck, dude. It was only a T6, damn.
Well, this is the one thing where a deep search is actually very helpful because you know.
That's just a lot of hits.
Yeah. Well, the thing. Well, T6s I have to pre-edge because I don't have the levels of normal deckers usually, unless my next dwarf does really well.
Now, I will give you 3 options here because you rolled really well.
Mhm.
You have lower risk, lower reward. You have a balance of like decent risk, decent reward, or you have high risk, high reward here. I'll give you guys the choice.
I'd probably do the balance. I'm just saying. All right.
And you guys do have gangers now that you can potentially send to do this sort of stuff as well. You don't have to do it all yourselves.
We might send them to some of the lows to a couple of like super low security sites that might have like a barrel or two, but not that much, if that. We might do that, but like the medium side, I think is going to have to be us, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't really trust the gangers we have yet with hitting a medium or a hard site.
No. Well, and like even among the low, there'd be like a spectrum of like what's the lowest of the low versus the highest of the low, right? So we might send them out to a couple of the lowest of the low sites just to get some experience and get some stuff while we do the medium. I kind of like to do the medium. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know about you guys.
Now, just to put this in mechanical terms, medium will give you a 1-month supply, enough for you to just pump out as much as you want for a month. The high risk or low risk would be 2 weeks. High risk would be anywhere from 2 to 4 months, depending on how big you wanted to go with it.
Well, the thing is, if this is the way we intend to, establish ourselves at least with one of the big dogs, so we're not constantly fighting, we're going to want a solid supply at some point anyway, right? Like an actual like trade route or something.
Yeah.
And so stealing to get the stuff is not sustainable. So therefore, if we steal just enough to last for a month or so to where we can actually, get Horatio initiated and then find somebody who can actually provide us with stuff, or hell, if Horatio's initiated, I mean, if the Crush makes this stuff their own, they're going to have some contacts as well. And it's like, hey, if you let us go through your contacts to get supplied, we can make high quality stuff that we will then cut you in for a lot cheaper for.
Now, just as food for thought, we could hit the easy place, since basically it'll be easy to cook up enough of the drugs to dish out to the Crimson Crush as a look what we can do once we have a regular supplier. How would you like to be in that relationship? Because just for us trying, none of us really have the skills necessary to find somebody that could supply us with all the precursors easily. I think my real estate contact or one of Tar's whack job bunker livers contacts might be the best people to find something like that. So we could always make that the focus of a session too, of just trying to convince somebody it would be in their best interest. It would behoove them, if you will, to help us out. I don't. I'm actually up for anything. I kind of want to throw dice and kill stuff, which which is always good when I'm the guy who throws explosives and dogs at people. So Horatio and Juliet, you've been kind of quiet. What are you guys thinking?
Not much. I've just been sort of ruminating on how Juliet would best go about make sure she can keep that new little bug out area staked.
I've actually got some ideas for that.
Ooh,
Yols.
share.
Basically, I was thinking about covering it in some drones, like more annoyance drones to kind of get the word out, leave this place alone. So like the taser equipped, like the ferret perimeter drones. Anybody gets too close, they get popped with the taser. Have a turreted gun maybe on the inside, micro cameras everywhere so we can keep an eye on it, and basically booby trap the shit out of it, but try to keep it non-lethal because we don't want someone just to burn it down. But I was thinking maybe for the first 2 weeks to get the word out, keep it like that. And then after that, if anybody comes in, a bullet to the knee, and have it steadily progress to something a little more aggressive. But start simple, let the word get out. This place is not for you anymore because people are going to come back even after the message we sent.
Related to that was Brain Eater's turf.
Yes.
And so they're a gang, and gangs usually have a particular mindset when it comes to turf, because if you allow somebody to, step like that, right, it makes you look weak and it encourages other people to basically do the same on other areas. So I would expect them to respond pretty violently in order to try and send their own message.
And how many people are you guys keeping there?
Well, none of the red wires.
Yeah, no, as of right now, I don't believe anybody. That's why I was thinking of making it more of an automated kind of thing, just for the
Okay.
time being. Just to, like my whole idea was do it like don't occupy all of our downtime with it, and we still have the treehouse to continue building up, but do something to get the word out among the squatters and the homeless. This is not a place for you, and the cameras would mainly be for when the brain eaters start coming around, wondering why they're not getting paid their rent on a building anymore. And then that's
Yeah.
when we can, if need be, escalate things. Or we could hit a point where we could have a parlay with them and be like, look, this is our turf now. Here's what we'll do for you in exchange, just to stay on good terms with them. And the reason why Kennel would be willing to do that with Juliet, but kind of keep Horatio out of it a little bit, is that Kennel isn't fully into being part of the Crimson Crush. Like, he still wants to be on his own. But if all we ever do is throw in with the Crimson Crush, we're setting ourselves up to be the targets of the other gangs. Whereas if we can play nice with the other gangs, still be like, hey, the Crimson Crush is our main homie, but you can be our side chick too. It would just go a long way to improving our lifespan, I think.
Yeah, I can see
Agreed.
that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I do want to propose this. There is one counter argument to that. If Horatio gets patched and they see you playing nice with rivals or something of that sort, could go bad that way. Or it could also be a good thing depending on how you want to spin it. So yeah, it would be down to dice on that case.
Yeah, I know.
Most likely.
I was thinking about that, and I'm trying to be in the character, and Kennel really does like Juliet, so it's one of those, maybe we have a side thing going on over here, and we got because we're not going to have a gang that'll come out and protect us. It's just us protecting ourselves. So maybe we need a little side thing. I don't know. Kennel's just still passing the thought around his big old troll-sized head.
Yeah, well, that's probably something that would pop in his head because Kennel, you've been around the block more than a few times. You know how this sort of stuff can go.
And with his backstory, he has a hard time putting all of his faith in one person. So he likes to make sure he has multiple avenues if needed. And since Juliet is so paranoid in the way she does things, he kind of sees a little bit of a kindred spirit in that.
No, makes sense. So we want to go for the precursors?
I think
Seems
so.
like it.
Yeah. And we want to do we want to hit the medium one so we can start making a lot of drugs for the month and then use some of those to boost Horatio's street cred.
Now, how willing are you guys to leave Redmond?
That depends on how strictly you enforce the wall. Because if you enforce it strict, there ain't no way we move in a fucking dump truck full of drug chemical precursors across the wall.
Well, reason being is if you want to go for the medium area, you're going to have to go into Snohomish.
Oh.
We can probably find a day or time when there's not going to be a manned checkpoint.
You can try to.
And we could potentially also just use some explosives to blow a hole in the wall.
I think she'd probably raise an issue with that, such as the cops might have a problem with that, like a really big problem.
Now, this is one thing that I want to know, because like Shadowrun lore is very consistent here. Is there an actual wall between Redmond and the rest of Seattle?
There's one that's talked about between Redmond and Bellevue, but that's just
Yeah, I
because
know there's one
Bellevue's the
between
Bridges
Bellevue,
district.
but
Oh, it's just along the Bellevue border. I thought it was.
that's what I always.
Well-
That's what. It's always been super inconsistent in the lore.
I think it's the
books and
Seattle
everything.
2072 book. It mentions certain checkpoints going from Redmond through the wall into Bellevue, but I can't recall anything saying there's a wall between Redmond and Snohomish.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that would make sense to me.
I know there's one around the crash zone.
Yeah, up in the northeast
Yes.
corner of it. Yeah, that's also where the crash was.
Because they talk about how you can look over the wall and see the crash from the nice places on the east. Or I'm sorry, on the west.
Well, I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you want a wall around Redmond or not?
I kind
Because
of,
again, I'm
like
cool
it.
with both, and the lore's very inconsistent on if there is one or if there's not one. It's very cyberpunky for there to be one, though.
Oh god, I want to buy a tunneling drone so badly, so that's greatly influencing my decisions.
I'm fine with either.
I am as well.
Yeah, fine.
Now, obviously, there are ways through the walls. There are areas of like that you can use to get around it or through it. But yeah, to get through actual checkpoints, to get larger vehicles through, it's a little more difficult. Yeah, let's go with there's a wall around separating Redmond from everything else. So if that's the case, how do you guys get through Snohomish? If you want to get there.
Well, if need be, I do have a real SIN. I actually have a national SIN, so I can just drive across the border. It doesn't really
Yeah,
help
same.
anybody else. Now, what we could do, if we have a vehicle with a smuggling compartment, I will happily drive that and hope that my real SIN-ness, since it'll pass any inspection, will help to assuage any kind of doubts that a crossing point might have. I think we would just need to come up with a cover story of who we are and why we're going from the Barrens up to there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, does Horatio have a smuggling compartment in the truck?
Oh, of course.
Okay, because Improv doesn't have a SIN. So what we could do is we apologies, Improv. I promise we'll put a nice towel down or something, but we could throw Improv in the smuggling compartment. I have a real SIN. I believe that Horatio and Juliet both have fake SINs.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
It's not the best,
Well,
but he does have one.
people have to cross the border to do work. I mean, that's most of the unskilled labor is going to come out of the Baron. So I can't imagine it being a horribly difficult test. And we do have this awesome Decker who could hack a SIN scanner if need be. Maybe we just put the three of us in a truck and hide Improv somewhere in there, and we just drive across. We can claim that we're a landscaping crew.
It would work.
I mean, we would look like one. A bunch of metahumans going
Yep.
into Snohomish.
Bunch of metahumans going into Snohomish. We're all beefy and muscular, and we just buy some shovels and throw them in the back of the pickup. Just something to look the part a little more. Or better yet,
Well, you know farming, right? So
I was
you
about
can,
to say, yeah, I have my farming kit, so that works. Oh,
Not bad.
The only
wait.
thing is if they look inside the truck, it now has high amenities
Oh shit.
because he needs it to be gangster.
You have a second one as well
I was
that you guys haven't used.
okay, I have an idea. Mr. GM, if I wanted to buy a plastic tank, like a cylindrical tank that would fit in the bed of a pickup truck and perhaps have a fake siphon hose on it, and on the side of this tank put septic cleaning services, about how much would that cost? Because what if we are a septic cleaning system going out to flush the septic tank for a farm somewhere in Snohomish? Are they going to actually inspect the septic tank if we put a little, dookie matter on the outside? Because that could be our way of getting the drugs back across the border.
Do you want septic or do you want slurry?
Outside of the mining industry, I'm not really sure what slurry is.
Okay, slurry, as far as like farms goes, is kind of what they use for. It's basically like what they use to condense like pellets for plant eaters. It's got like you take hay, you take grass, you take all this nutrient type stuff, chop it up, turn it into this mush, and then like you package it, dry it out, turn it into like kibble almost, just for herbivores, not.
Well, I was trying to think of the most disgusting thing possible that a guard would not want to stick their head in, and I was thinking something that had to pump out septic waste might be it.
Well, I mean, if you want to look it up, just look up farm slurry and
Yeah,
on
there
Google
we
go
are.
to images.
I got it now. Ew.
Yeah, it's not pleasant. Oh, I'm sorry. Apparently, my grandfather always told me wrong. Slurry is like byproducts, stuff that you would use for like fertilizer and stuff. The waste products of corn, of wheat, and all that. But Horatio, if you wanted to do a jump, you know of a place that could work. It's not going to be perfect, but it could work.
Ooh, is it one of these buildings that's collapsed and then you drive up the roof, which is down on the ground, and jump over the wall?
I was going to go with. Actually, yeah, let's go with that because that sounds awesome. I was going to go with a more no, like there's an actual coyote tunnel that they've dug and have disappeared through. But no, I like your idea better. It's an old parking garage. Like half of it was taken out whenever they built the wall, and the people of the Barrens have kind of built it up to where there's a ramp that if you angle it right, you can land on the highway going from the Rat's Nest or Purity, like straight over the wall directly onto that highway, and you can just keep on driving.
Oh, that's badass.
It's a little tricky, but it's there and you can do it.
I know a spot we can get over the wall. It's the whizzest thing ever. And by that I mean it's the Flash. It's the way we should totally do it because we're all straight gangsters now.
I never joined.
The problem is I don't have a sin.
That's fine. We're gonna hit this ramp and then we land on the freeway and then we're in Snohomish. Ain't no one gonna know.
I mean, as long as we don't get scanned, I guess. Do you want to make some more bombs first, though?
Yeah.
I mean, yo, this place we're going to hit that's over in Snohomish, like, should we scout it out before we bring the boom boom, or I mean, I don't really just want to run into some place and be like, surprise, y'all dead.
I mean, that tends to work. If you make it too complicated, then like some of the slower people don't really understand the plan. He says that while looking at Juliet.
Kennel's just going to keep his eyes up on the top left corner of the room. Yeah, he's not looking at anyone. Nope.
You know, like like it's the kiss principle, right?
The what now?
Oh, when they charge extra if you want to kiss on the mouth. Normally they charge you almost double for that.
No, it means keep it simple, Slitches.
Yeah, man, I always go for simple slitches because, man, if they use them complicated words, then they might realize they're too good for me. So,
I don't know. I like books.
hey, man, if it wasn't for books, my table would still wobble. All right, so they all right mine. Hey, coffee. Yeah. Anyway, this thing we're going to do, man. I mean, is it like we need to do a little bit of that recognizant stuff, you know, and find out what like if they got guards or if they got guards. I don't know. I don't do the planning on this stuff.
Well, I got one of these here fly spies. I could send it out.
Oh, yo, that thing looks like a bug.
Right? Isn't that whiz?
I did not know that they could do that.
Interesting.
I know. I almost squashed it one time because I forgot I had sent it out to do something.
Not bad.
Yeah. Now, how far can that thing go? Like, can you just fly it from here all the way there, or is it like those? Oh, is it like one of those cheap little drones that you control with your comm link that only go like 3 meters and then they lose signal and they fall down?
Well, I took it over to the squatters mall, and it did fine there.
Yeah, I try not to go back to that place. I'm still going to get that old Jasper. Motherfucker took $750 million out of my pocket.
Oh, we can totally.
Yeah, we gonna go back and we gonna pay Jasper a visit one of these days.
Although that thing he made is pretty nice. I really like it. How the eyes like follow you around. That's pretty cool.
Did you know if you move the tail, it'll play music?
What? And then he runs out to go test that.
That old Jasper, you wacky one.
Yeah, there's a switch up underneath the tail, right where you would expect it to be. If you push it, the dog's mouth opens, and it wiggles back and forth, and it plays a song as the disco lights flash around.
So he'll go do that, and then about 5 minutes later, he comes back. Oh, that's so whiz. That's Flash, and it's even better than I knew.
Hey, just so you know, if you need something to help you sleep after watching that thing do that, I got some. And he'll touch his horn where he has his little smuggling compartment in it. I got stuff that makes it so you don't dream about anything.
You know, that's just a myth that troll horn is an aphrodisiac. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
A what?
Well,
What is
oh, you mean if you eat one? Yeah, man, you're gonna break your teeth if you try to eat one of these. And he'll actually wrap his knuckles on it. This thing like a rock.
Oh, well, like the Japanese used to hunt trolls for their horns because it was an aphrodisiac. But that's not true. It doesn't work. He knows about troll hunts.
I'm fucking dying. Oh, you're killing me here. All right, so we need.
I just got a weird look from my wife for laughing too hard. So do you guys want to do like the slurry or septic?
Yeah,
tank
what would you
idea?
guys like to do for our secret vehicle? Because basically the idea was we're going to need something sizable to carry back all of the materials we're going to use for manufacturing the drugs, and it was just a septic pump, a septic pumping tank was just the grossest thing I could think of that nobody would want to look in. Going into Snohomish, a slurry like a fertilizer slurry truck might be a better way to do that. I'm just thinking if we're coming through the Barrens with anything potentially biohazard, you could just dump it anywhere. There's really no laws out there.
Yeah, that seems pretty common. I mean, you have all the farms and shit up there, so all their shit, you just drive that into Redmond and dump it. Easy.
No, I think that's a good idea. I do think we should do like a matrix search on just this particular location we're going to hit.
Sure.
And if anyone can do a drive-by, that would also
Oh.
be useful.
I can legally do a drive-by. Would
Juliet's
Juliet
on
like?
that.
Does Juliet want to come in the sidecar?
Yeah.
All right.
She wants a look-see.
So I will put Juliet in the sidecar, and I will start rolling out towards Snohomish.
Here, take this, and then I'll hand you the fly spy. I'll get into it. I'll be the fly when you get close and get us like an aerial view.
Because I know all about looking the part, I'm actually going to put on. Yo, we can't be bringing guns, Juliet. You understand that?
Yes.
Do you have any clothes that look a little less murder and a
No.
little more? Oh damn.
No.
Okay.
I have electrochromatic. I can make him look kind of decent, fine, but
What are you talking about? She looks gangster.
I know, but we're going to go up to farm country where there's like tractors and cows live up there. Can't be rolling up looking all gangster if we're going to be going looking at a moo. Look, okay, here's what I'm going to do. And Kennel's going to put on, he bought one of the licensed team jerseys for the Seattle Screamers as his way of saying thank you for, 406,000 new yen. So he will put that on and some sunglasses. And of course, he's going to wear his helmet because he's a responsible driver. And he will take one of his decoy cups, a soy bucks cup, and he will put the fly spy inside it and put the lid on it and put it in the cup holder because he's afraid he's going to smush it if he puts it inside his jacket. And we will start driving out to Snohomish, I believe.
Okay, the area that you're going to it has the reputation of being a smaller family farm, but Improv with your deep search earlier, they're known of being a smuggling group that runs across the border from the UCAS territory into the NAN, known as the Roaring Weeds.
Ooh. Okay.
And these guys do a lot of drug running back and forth. They bring in the mushrooms and everything that you need for, is it red mescaline? I forget which drug it is. It's
Yeah,
like
red
economic
mesc is
mushroom.
kind of like peyote.
Yeah, they're known for bringing that stuff in, bringing it into Seattle, and getting that distributed throughout. Well, they bring in red mesk from over there, distribute out to Seattle, and then from Seattle they take various other drugs and ship it out. But they do occasionally deal in precursors.
Damn,
Okay.
if this is a drug distribution group, maybe we should look at them more as allies and less as a target.
I mean, if you get the chance to talk to them.
Oh yeah, trying to set up a pipeline. We could do that.
Although if we leave them alive, they'll continue doing business afterwards. And as long as they don't know it was us,
A troll, an orc, a dwarf, and a human with a propensity for attack dogs, hellhounds, and explosives, gold-plated AKs, and crazy survivalists swinging from a rope shooting people in the face with APDS. They'll never figure out it was us. Never.
No, that's what masks are for.
Ooh, good point. Game mechanics, baby. Wear a mask and you can't be identified.
But your stuff potentially can.
Cuff 'em, boys. This mask clearly did this robbery. Sorry to bother you, Mr. Troll. All right, so, Mr. Jam, we are going to do a lazy country drive. And we are going to do the Shadowrunner drive-by of this farm, the farm of the Roaring Weeds.
Okay. Any drones or anything like that, or just driving through?
I am, when we hit a quiet, unattended place, I'm going to fling the fly spy into the air for Horatio. Give him a call on the comm link and, yo, you're going up in 3, 2, 1, and toss up the fly spy. I have the sim rig running so I can send recorded footage back to everybody. And remember, I have the olfactory booster, the taste booster, and the touch link, all of that going. So this is a high quality recording. And I will be using my peepers. And we have Juliet who sees everything.
Okay. The first two are just doing the normal drive-by. Can I get a pair of perception checks?
Sure thing, Bob.
Okay. Going through most of Snohomish, the road that you're having to head down into, because it's not a super beautiful area up in Cathcart. Instead of the roads lined with trees, then obscuring fences with razor wire fences with monowire topping it, you just now have the razor wire fences with monowire topping it instead of something blocking it. There's a fairly consistent amount of traffic coming through here of various transport vehicles or an industrial transportation type stuff, just constantly filtering out through here. The area that you get to looks fairly run down as far as compared to most of the areas that you've seen. The really long, skinny buildings, most people think they're always chicken houses, but they're not. There's several of them. All of them have like the big industrial fans over top, a couple of large warehouse style doors. You can see, at least when you're driving by, you can see at least 4 of these from where you are. You can't get a clear view through everything because it's a pretty large amount of property. You see at least 4 along with what appears to be a smaller office style building. Juliet, you notice that there are a few drones that you're able to see patrolling the area.
Okay, what kind? Fly spies?
Smaller security drones. Think like the one similar to the Castle Guard in Rigor 5.
Sorry, I didn't catch the name.
The ones that are similar to the Castle Guard in Rigor 5.
Oh, okay. Wait, those are stationary. Oh, no, they're not stationary. They're little.
The Castle Guard are like little. They're literally just like a taser, like a little box with a taser mounted on top.
Okay, so they are stationary. Gotcha.
No, they're not stationary. They roll around. They're little wheeled drones.
This is embarrassing.
Yes, page 133 of Rigor 5.
Thank you, sir.
Kennel, could you make me a knowledge check off of your smell? I think this would be parazoology or just zoology.
I have them both.
Zoology. Roll both.
Would a domestic specialty in zoology apply?
Yes.
That would be 1 hit on each.
You smell chicken litter. A lot of chicken litter as you're passing this area.
God, because Howling Shadows is my favorite book, I'm always nervous when there's animals because there's always an awakened version of everything. And I'm totally not referencing a cockatrice or anything like that. Don't let the tail touch you.
Now, Horatio, could I get the check from you?
Absolutely.
I was just thinking that maybe Improv should be the next one to get a control rig, and we can put rigor adaptation on all the detonators for your bombs, so you can know what it feels like to be the bomb.
The feedback would suck so bad.
That's right at the limit.
Why can I not find those things?
Let's edge that because I don't want us to be tipped off yet.
Can you tell us what you're looking for, Pickled, or will that ruin the fun?
I'm actually no. Yeah, I don't want to tell you.
I didn't want to know anyway.
Never mind. Found it. Okay. How close are you taking this, Horatio?
I want to do
keep it fairly far away, or
Yeah, I wanna do a perimeter sweep, basically. Make note of where the entrances are, get a nice aerial view. As much as he likes to pretend he's the best, he's only had this implant for like a week. And as such, he's not 100% confident in his ability to actually sneak a fly spy through it.
Okay.
It does have the vision magnification. It's got a laser microphone, so if he sees a window within 100 meters, he'd hit that. An atmospheric sensor. The other ones I don't think would matter.
Does it have an olfactory sensor?
No,
Okay. I was just wondering because I love olfactory sensors. Anyway, can I get a perception check from you? Or E-War, depending on what you want to use.
would visual count for perception?
Not in this case because you're using an actual sensor. Or
But that makes sense.
multiple of sensors.
Would I add the control rig bonuses to that?
Yes.
Oh boy, rigger time.
Hey, not bad. From where you're at, the area that they have cordoned off, there are 8 small warehouses here. As you're flying over, you can't tell exactly what's in all of them, but there's actually a fairly large area kind of cut off of where you see several small white feathery creatures just kind of roaming throughout this fairly small farm.
Do I recognize the animals?
They look like chickens. And as you're flying over, there's also a separate section that has been cordoned off that is of little small, tiny creatures. You see larger ones that have small horns on their head. Would Horatio know what a goat is?
I don't think he would.
So yeah, you see something that it's a little bigger than it's about the same size as a large dog with small little curved horns over its head. Its hair is much more stringy.
Does he think it's a pygmy double unicorn?
Possibly.
Oh, it's a horned
it's
dog.
got they got they have little goatees that come down off their face. But flying up above them, you wouldn't be able to see their feet. But you see them running around, and occasionally, when a truck drives by, you'll hear a horn go off, just as one or two will stop for a second, straighten up, fall over, and then after a couple of seconds, we'll get back up and start running again.
Mr. Jim, would I recognize this animal right away?
Oh yeah, they're goats. And instead of being like an open field, there are some areas that are, well, instead of like being very trim grass in this area, there are certain parts that are fairly overgrown, of where it's hard for you to see into it. There are bushes and everything, and the goats are slowly eating their way through, slowly picking their way and eating what they want.
Roughly how big is this entire farm?
Probably looking at 8 to 10 acres.
All right, so pretty big.
For a farm, that's pretty small, but for Seattle, that's really big.
Well, and for Horatio, that's like
Yeah, that's huge. It's probably the largest open area that you've ever seen outside of like a park or something.
parks in Redmond. What?
Well, you guys went through Lake Sammamish State Park a couple of sessions back.
Oh, that's true. Well, you guys want me to try and go get a closer look at this here what'd you call it, Kennel?
Man, it's seriously, didn't none of you have that little toy where the arrow spins around and it says like the cow says moo and the chicken says bok bok and the pig says you have the right to remain silent. Yo, I set you up for that joke, yo. No, I mean, man, it's a goat.
No, I had a holdout pistol with capsule rounds. It was great.
So let me guess, your daddy put you in a room with a revolver and said play some Russian roulette until you win?
Oh yeah, I won every time.
Yo, man, it's a goat, man. They make milk and they eat grass and trees and I don't know, like bump cars or something. I don't man. I don't
I
know.
always wondered where soy came from.
They look dangerous.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Dogs
if they
will
don't like
chew your
you.
face off. I mean, they've got horns. What kind of animal has horns? It's like a demon. You know,
Hey,
like ones that kill in the games.
hey. And he's gonna reach up, like actually slow the motorcycle to a stop, and just point at his horns.
Well, not you. Yours are curved back. Theirs are the forward point.
Remember, though, that most of them don't have armor, so just throw a bomb at them. It'll be fine.
Well, yeah, but then all the milk's gonna go on the ground. We could sell, yo. We could be into like bombs and drugs and goat's milk.
What?
That stuff's worth a lot of money. I'm telling you, them old women out in Bellevue, they pay extra for goat's milk if it comes from a real goat.
Go. Everybody knows milk
What?
comes from plants. It doesn't come from animals. Silly.
Man, have you ever been outside? Dang, man, it's like, okay. I'm gonna buy you a book, okay? And it's called The Animal ABC. And for every letter, because there's a bunch of letters in the alphabet, like 50 of them or something, that there's an animal that has a name that starts with that letter.
No, I think they just made that up. Because like if you go to your processing unit and then you hit milk, it like makes some chugging noises and then it dispenses soy milk for you.
You know what? Maybe I'll go shopping in Bellevue also. Oh man, I swear to. Can we just scout this place out? I'm telling you, it's a goat. Okay, they say bad.
Yeah, I've got some good feeds. Do you want me to go look closer?
I don't know. Do you want to risk your drone in front of the devil horn animals? And he's going to look at Juliet and kind of smile.
I don't have explosive ammo on me, so.
I mean, it's just a drone. I can buy more.
And
If they
just
gore one of us, you were warned.
Mr. GM Kennel is, as during this drive, like I said, he is recording all this on the sim rig. He's trying to spot like any kind of covert way to enter the area. Just, is there only one road leading to it? Is there heavy tree cover around the place? So he's definitely keeping his head on a swivel, trying to look down any side roads he might see.
Give me a perception check. Searching, if you have it. And I'm also going to need an etiquette check if you're going to be driving around this place. Using reaction, not charisma.
It's kind of embarrassing to be the face, and I actually have a better dice pool using reaction and not charisma.
That's part of being a troll, when you actually look like a troll.
And 4 hits on both of those, on both the perception and the driving etiquette.
As you're driving around here, this place has a ton of entrances and exits that have plenty of cover. They're away from the normal prying eye. At first, they're hard to notice, but again, since you guys you've had to do something of this sort at some point. There are areas that you can see. Like if you look over and you look through, like if you drive through some initial vegetation, it's blocked off by just some bushes or something. It's like, oh hey, I can get through here. There's probably a gap through the fence or a gate here that's hard to see or just not normally used. I mean, this is from what you guys have found earlier, a smuggling operation. So there's plenty of entrances and exits and all sorts of different stuff. But as far as if you want to get on foot, there's actually a way from the goat pen that Horatio pointed out to you. It's right along the corner. The grass has grown up. Looks like something or someone has been digging, trying to get underneath this fence right here, and just whoever's there either wants it there or just hasn't noticed it yet. Do you have anything involving like security design or anything of that sort?
For me, absolutely not.
I could have sworn I did. 1 second. Yeah, security design. 1 second.
Because I keep reading it. You guys aren't playing actual Shadowrunners. You're playing Gangers and learning all this
Yeah.
stuff. Juliet, yeah. You would actually probably point Kennel to that one over everything else, because all these other places have areas of where it would be very easy to hide a camera or sensors or something of that sort, whereas this doesn't have it.
Okay. Improv. Do you think we could finagle with the cameras at all?
I'm sorry, Mr. GM, did you say it appeared this corner does not have cameras, or this corner would have cameras?
This corner does not appear to have cameras, no.
Okay.
At least there's nowhere easy to hide them.
Do you think we could mess with the cameras?
Yes, absolutely. So because I didn't want to get caught and anyone try to scan me, if you can get a perception of them, I can see where they're linked to, and then I can maybe subvert infrastructure. Who knows? Because that's a thing now.
Yeah, thank you, Code, for pretty much making my house rules a normal thing.
Yay!
Which is kind of cool.
Or we can buy loopers.
Yeah, or you could do loopers.
That's also very good.
But yeah, Kennel, as you're passing most of these, like if you're doing the Matrix Perception, most of these do have, again, except for this one entrance, do seem to have cameras on them.
Okay, I would have done the Matrix Perception when Juliet mentioned there doesn't appear to be any cameras, and I would pass any comm codes that I pick up over to Improv.
All right, let's take a look.
I am the king of copy-paste.
Okay.
What's their firewall and device rating?
You actually find oh, I'm sorry. You're not there yet.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I
yeah.
keep forgetting it's Juliet and them. The device rating is a 3. The firewall is a 6.
Okay. And is there a host for this site at all?
None that you have seen yet. No.
Okay. And I didn't find one on my search or anything.
Nope.
Okay.
Because you're looking for these specific cameras, right? Because
Yes.
you're not within 100 meters.
Yeah. Okay. No problem.
Oh, I forgot to mention, like the corrugated metal that they have on these housings. Like most of the other places have kept them up fairly well, have them have them painted fairly decently. Whereas these, a lot of the areas, the paint has either faded or even turned to rust in a lot of these. On a lot of this stuff, they don't seem to have taken as much care for everything as what most of their neighbors have. Kennel.
Okay.
So are there any buildings that appear to be in better repair than the others, or are they all just similarly dilapidated?
They're all similarly dilapidated.
Is there any kind of active farming that is actually happening here?
Most of it appears to be automated. You see a couple of drones out there, like resupplying feeders, throwing out a couple of treats for the various animals that are out there. For the most part, you don't see any human interaction. No, and this would be from Horatio's point of view.
Yo, Horatio, you want to get a little closer with that drone you got?
You know it, brother.
Aight, man, aight. Cause I don't know what we're looking for. Probably like barrels that are like got like bubbling stuff, and they got one of those symbols with those 3 little triangles with the three yellow ones with the 3 black ones. That means something like paint stripper or something like that. I forget the little circular ones. Anyway, probably looking for some kind of barrels like those.
You got it, boss. And he's gonna take the fly spy in and try and look a little closer.
Are you trying to take them inside? Are you keeping it on the outside, or are you trying to take it inside?
Well, I assume that previously I couldn't get any windows, right?
No.
And I don't see entrances to any of these buildings, right? Other than doors.
There are the industrial fans that seem to be constantly going.
Now, Mr. GM, given that these are rusted
but
buildings,
I was about to say, but you could find a way through. It's like a little area that's rusted through. I was just about to get to that, Kennel.
Well, that's what he's going to try and do.
Okay, I'm going to need a pilot check.
And I'll edge that because let's break the limit there. Oh, yeah, the limit's 5, so we'll break the limit.
Now, is that pilot or sneaking?
That was my sneak. Let me give you a pilot as well.
Are you comfortable with that amount of successes?
Yes.
Okay, you're able to fly this thing through you. See, is it fly spy or roto drone or not? I don't think it is.
No, it has insect wings.
Yeah, you feel 2 of your insect wings catch on the side, and it kind of spins you around in a circle. But you eventually catch yourself and right yourself. Inside here, you don't see much farming equipment in any of them that you go through. You see vehicles, like you see gophers, a couple of bulldogs, a few vans here or there, but most of the stuff that you were able to find has been put on pallets and has like a tarp or plastic covering over top of it, so it's difficult to see inside.
Well, we're going to share that feed with everyone.
Okay.
And as you're going through, you eventually reach one of them. Outside the others of where most people are gone, or where there's not very many people there. There's like 1 or 2 kind of just double checking everything, making sure nothing weird is going on, or a drone that's pulling through, getting something and moving it elsewhere. There's a certain area that actually appears to be a buzz of activity. There's a gopher that has been jacked up. It's got a Horatio, you would know this. It's actually got like a lift kit put on it, large off-road tires. The front has been done in instead of like not so much a roll cage, but it has like the brush guard with the row of lights up top. It has a very nice winch on the front, and they're loading things up into a trailer that is being pulled behind this thing.
Is this a redneck booty wagon?
Yes.
That reminds me of all those
It
years
looks
in Georgia.
very similar to this.
That thing sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it's as far as like off-roading trucks goes, it's rather gorgeous. but everything that's on here actually appears to be, again, from your smuggling knowledge, actually appears to be stuff that would be useful when you're having to trek through the mountains. And they're pulling a trailer that is being loaded up. It's got the full top, the sides and everything are all blocked off. They're loading up barrels or crates of stuff and getting it put inside.
Well, with that radio signal scanner, do I spot any matrix icons, comm links, the car's icon, what have you?
The car does not appear to have an icon, but the two drones that are actively loading this are, as well, and you're able to pick up 4 other comm links. You see 2 guys inside that appear to be checking over everything. A guy underneath the truck, making sure it's working, as well as another one who's off on the side, almost looks like he's doing like an inventory check of everything that's going through. This probably is an unusual sight for you. These guys aren't in your normal Barons attire and your normal gang attire. Instead of like being dispatched clothing of whatever they could find with armor and stuff thrown on in various colors, these guys actually appear to be in proper work attire. They actually have what looks like an off-brand of the Industrious done, but instead of like being the full jumpsuit, or is done like in a pair of overalls with flannel shirts underneath it. For the 2 guys that are inside, you see a pair of sawed-off shotguns sitting in the dashboards, and the other 2 don't appear to have any sort of weapons if you look for those.
Mr. GM, what metatypes have we seen thus far?
Mostly human. The one that is underneath the truck, if you fly down and look, he's an orc. Each of them have a large bump in their bottom lip.
I should have known. Improv sold us out. She secretly works for these guys, and she put claymores in their mouth. That's
Wow.
what it is. Fucking
Mean.
pinky breeders. Roar.
Mean, yo.
I don't know. I don't think Improv seems to be the type of person who would hang out with the rednecks.
No, I feel like they might have a problem with her not having a sin. Sorry, that was a bit too real.
Have we, just as like a kind of I guess a common sense question, have we seen anything that just seems really out of the ordinary for some country bumpkins? Like there's a shiny brand new combat drone in the corner, or there's like a Shenyang race, like all completely race like modified and yearsed out in the corner. Like, is there anything that's just jumping out as this does not fit here?
Outside of the fact that there doesn't appear to be much farming equipment, you don't have the large tractors, you don't have big industrial feeder drones or anything like that moving around. Not really.
Okay, I'm more trying to think in how any of us would recognize if there was a syndicate involved. Like, if the Yakuza were part of this, they're not going to roll up in an old beater gopher. They're going to show up in Shinyoungs, and if it's the mafia, they might be in like a Bentley or something along those lines.
If that's the case, if you're looking for something like that, I would need like syndicates or like syndicates knowledge or something of that sort. Underworld might work.
One of these days I'll remember which character I'm using, and I don't have any of those.
I think Juliet has Underworld.
I think so. I'm checking now. I think it's one of our big ones. Yeah. Well, in Underworld.
Oh, good lord. Join us next week to discover whether it's the Mafia, the Yakuza, or just a poorly timed break in the episode.